Hey guys! In this video, we'll look at all the references to Friends in other movies and TV shows.
You think those guys on Friends need another friend?
Whether it's cameos, parodies, or tributes to the series.
I don't even like this show. I wanted to be on Friends.
Didn't you hear Frasier and Friends are going off the air too?
The Simpsons is probably the show that has made the most references to the series Friends.
We've got Japanese friends.
Second job, one that pays well. You think those guys on Friends need another friend?
That show's gone off the air.
Damn it. I would have been perfect as Rachel's Irish cousin.
The Simpsons are experts at making references to other shows.
Is that perfume?
Oh, don't be such a Phoebe. It's Pretension by Calvin Klein. Want to try some?
Whether directly or indirectly, the show has been mentioned on multiple occasions, showing the affection for one of the most iconic series of all time.
Up next, which former Friends star is speaking out against adult illiteracy?
It's Lisa Kudrow.
Oh!
Even one of the shows often considered Friends' direct rival, we're talking about The Office, which competes for the title of the greatest comedy of all time, also shows some affection for the series, even mentioning it in one of its episodes.
We're like friends. I am Chandler and Joey. Pam is Rachel. And Dwight is Kramer.
Another very famous sitcom, How I Met Your Mother, also referenced the series in a scene where they mimic the iconic Friends coffee shop.
So I guess that decides it. Yep.
Hanging out at a coffee place, not nearly as much fun as hanging out at a bar.
Another very popular series that probably made you laugh a lot doesn't forget its own reference show either. We're talking about Brooklyn Nine-Nine, where during a conversation, the characters are named in one of the funniest scenes.
I guess I didn't really think of you as that kind of friend.
Sarge, I'm every kind of friend. I'm Phoebe, I'm Chandler, I'm Rachel, who's the dinosaur guy?
Ross, bro! Ross!
Sorry.
This show didn't just influence the production of other series and movies. Its iconic lines also made their way into songs by mega-famous artists like Taylor Swift. The artist not only included iconic quotes from the show in her lyrics, she even performed one of Phoebe's songs live on stage. In the film Leave the World Behind, there's a clear reference to Friends, where the character Rose is obsessed with finishing the series to find out what ultimately happens between Ross and Rachel. This reference highlights a part of the plot where Friends is portrayed as an escape from stressful situations in real life. Friends is often used to compare romantic situations, as it is frequently mentioned in the series Community.
My really good friend.
Well, I didn't realize we were really good friends. I figured we were more like Chandler and Phoebe. They never really had stories together. Sure, I'll do it, Chandler.
Thank you, Abed.
This series shows us how conversations about love can be perfectly framed within the context of one of the most famous comedy shows.
To be blunt, Jeff and Britta is no Ross and Rachel. Your sexual tension and lack of chemistry are putting us all on edge, which is why, ironically, and hear this on every level, you're keeping us from being friends.
Another famous series that ended in 2020, The Good Place, also mentioned Friends multiple times throughout its episodes. In one conversation, the characters from Friends are even directly referenced.
Whatever you are.
Well, since we're becoming friends, like Ross and Phoebe, I promised all of you that you would be safe and happy, and you just don't break a promise, like Ross when he promised Emily not to talk to Rachel.
The show even discusses how a small group of friends manages to live in one of the most expensive cities while having regular jobs.
How did they afford that apartment? A waitress and a chef with those Manhattan real estate prices.
Yeah, we were all confused about that too.
Although the show reveals Michael's obsession with Friends through direct and indirect references.
I feel like Friends in season 8. Out of ideas, forcing Joey and Rachel together even though it made no sense.
It doesn't stop there. The actress who played Phoebe, Lisa Kudrow, actually makes a guest appearance in the series, where she even makes a subtle self-reference to her iconic role in Friends.
Of Alexandria?
Yep. How's it hanging?
It's hanging really well! But didn't you want to tell us how we're all screwed?
Damn it! This is the exact problem!
Going back to one of the animated series, Family Guy, which, like The Simpsons, is well known for making references to other shows, it too has done its part by parodying the Friends intro.
We gave you Breaking Bad and all the songs by Creed, all the cast of Friends and trash like Tara Reid.
But if we continue along the line of shows that parodied the Friends intro, We also have The Middle, which gave it its own humorous twist.
Reenacting the Friends opening! Woo! Lexi, where are you? You're being such a Phoebe right now!
When talking about references to the show, we can't forget the countless nods found in the Joey spin-off, especially in the very first episode, which features one of the most touching references of all.
Nobody understands wanting things to stay the same like I do. I was happy in New York, okay? And I tried really hard to keep things from changing, but everyone else got married and had kids.
Without a doubt, this first episode reveals that everyone else has moved on with their lives, while Joey is still trying to find his place. That's precisely why this spin-off was created, to give closure to the life of one of Friends' most beloved characters.
So, I'm giving change a shot, and it has been hard. Just hoping things stay the same.
Futurama also took the time to acknowledge Friends, offering a small nod to the show with a humorous twist. This reference can be found in Season 4, Episode 3.
Most foolish program. Why does Ross, the largest friend, not simply eat the other 5?
Perhaps they are saving that for sweet.
Monica, known in Friends for her obsession with cleanliness and order, struggled with food issues and was overweight in her youth, an experience that deeply shaped her personality. This part of her past was humorously parodied in an episode of Animaniacs, which featured an animated version of the show and poked fun at her former relationship with food.
This is our apartment and you're getting out! Huh?
In this episode of Animaniacs, we see a fairly complete parody of Friends, including an animated version of the show's intro, its characters, and key elements of the plot. In the movie No Reservations, in the final scene, the protagonist Kate Armstrong opens her own restaurant, and coincidentally, it's in the same building used for the exterior shots of the apartments in Friends.
Joey, let me ask you a question.
In the movie Mr. Robot, Elliot connects to the Wi-Fi network of a Friends fan, whose network name references a part of the lyrics from the show's theme song. This can be seen as a direct reference, since that song was created exclusively for Friends. If we're talking about shows that often criticize other series, we can't forget South Park, which also didn't overlook this particular show, and made a critique of it in the following scene.
So does that mean I'll never laugh again?
But you know, if you have completely lost your sense of humor, you can always become a writer for the show Friends.
In an episode of King of the Hill, we see Bobby running through the supermarket. Everything seems normal until he stops in front of the TV section, and there, on one of the screens, none other than an episode of Friends is playing. The success of Friends and its main cast has often led to references to the show's actors, and American Dad takes advantage of this detail to make its own nod to them. Although the series has been referenced multiple times throughout American Dad, perhaps the most iconic moment comes when Barry discovers that his friends' moms have stopped being friends after years of close friendship.
Your mom's being friends is the glue holding the two of you together. It's like on the show Friends. Remember how their friendship was held together by a deep mutual love, being paid $1 million an episode? That's your mom's.